I, 28, had a pretty rough childhood. Grew up dirt poor and raised by a single mom with an older brother. Always being hungry and not having enough food was a constant of my childhood. I can't count the number of times I didn't have enough money for lunch at school and would have to sit there hungry and hope that a friend would give me their leftovers. My older brother was a bully growing up. When mom wasn't looking, he'd take food off my plate because he was even more hungry than I was. My bro and I are very cool now, and he has apologized profusely for doing that. So I grew up very scrawny and hungry all the time, but was lucky to get into college on a scholarship and majored in mechanical engineering and now have a good paying job. I guess compensating for my childhood, I am now obsessive about food, cooking, bodybuilding, weight training, etc. I think I am well adjusted, and I credit my childhood for making me resilient and tough. But my one weird quirk is I can absolutely not stand it when people take food off my plate. I'm like a territorial dog with his bowl of chow. As such, whenever I cook, I always make double so there are always leftovers, and I'll never worry about anyone I'm feeding not having enough. Anyway, I've been dating my girlfriend, 27, for 3 years now, living together for 1. She has some idea of my childhood, but I don't like to dwell on the past. Early on in our relationship, we were at a restaurant and she took some fries off my plate and I just sort of laughed and said, "Hey, I know this is weird, but please don't do that. I'll order more fries if you want some." She knows this is a quirk of mine. A few days ago we had a couple friends over for dinner outside. We all working from house at this point and there are only bubble friends we see, and same with them. We were talking about quirks our partners have and my girlfriend, a little tipsy, joked about how I hate it when people eat food off my plate. To emphasize her point, she scooped a bit of mashed potatoes off my plate. I was like, yeah, I don't like that. And then she did it again. Haha babe, seriously please don't do that, there are more mashed potatoes inside. A few minutes later she did it again. I reiterated I wasn't done with my plate and that she could get some more inside. But I don't want to go inside, she said, and then took another bite off my plate. This made her and our friends laugh. That made me lose it. I felt disrespected. I said, "It's not freaking funny," and stormed off and went inside. Our friends were understandably weirded out and left shortly thereafter. We're now barely talking now, and she is beyond pissed for embarrassing her. I'm at a total loss and feel terrible for making a scene, but at the same time this is just the one thing that drives me crazy, and the fact that my girlfriend hasn't apologized either isn't helping. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. The fact that she kept disrespecting not only your polite requests but also your already established boundaries was immature and childish. Anyone willing to continue stepping over the line just for the sake of looking cool in front of other people is acting like an idiot. My advice to you would be to talk to her and tell her precisely why you were upset and see if you can make her understand. If she still refuses to see why she was in the wrong, then you might be better off just moving on and finding someone who is going to respect you when something bothers you. Everyone's the idiot here. She doesn't understand what is going on here. And you went ballistic. She crossed a line but thought you were laughing. You have a communication problem. You can't be with this person if you cannot communicate why you are doing this. We all have crosses to bear, not minimizing, just saying it is true. You must manage your cross in a mature fashion. Also, if you plan to have kids, you need to deal with this now. Kids will take from all your life plates. And you can't go off like that on a child. Everyone's the idiot here. I have a similar background, but I feel like it's immature for me to let it ruin my day when someone takes food off my plate. Unpopular opinion probably, but I look at it as we can't let our childhood dictate who we are forever. She shouldn't have done it so many times, but I think the first time or two she wasn't an idiot and you overreacted. By similar background, I mean almost exactly the same, super underweight kid fighting siblings for food. And I think it's silly to act like a territorial dog at the age I am now, 28. Just my 2 cents. I will turn 19 on Thanksgiving this year. My mother is extremely controlling. She doesn't think your birthday should be celebrated if it falls on a holiday, so myself and my older sister, 22, whose birthday is sometimes on Easter, will sometimes not be acknowledged at all because your birthday isn't a holiday. And she will kick people out if they wished us a happy birthday. It's ridiculous. This isn't even the most controlling thing she does. If you get upset, you're the problem, and how dare you hurt her feelings. So my sister said she'd bring me a cupcake for my birthday that I could have after everyone left. My brother, 13, overheard and told my mother, and she kicked up a big fuss about it. She called my sister, and they got into an argument, and now my sister isn't coming at all because my mother uninvited her. I miss my sister, so when she invited me to her place instead, I said yes. My brother tattled again, and my mom tried to tell me I couldn't go. My sister has offered me a room in her apartment, and I'm really tempted to move. I told my mother I was going, and she couldn't stop me, and if she threatened to kick me out like she likes to do, I had somewhere to go, so let me know if I need to start packing. She just sort of floundered for a minute before turning on the tears. I just walked away. She doesn't want me to move because she needs my extra help with my brother, like driving him places and keeping an eye on him. My brother said I was being an idiot, but I told him if he wasn't always such a tattletale, this wouldn't be a problem. I then shut the door in his face. My sister is thrilled I stood up for myself, but I got a call from my grandmother, who is also controlling, saying I'm being ridiculous and I owe everyone an apology. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. You're 19, so it's your choice what you do on your birthday or holiday. The fact that your mother would uninvite your sister, I assume she's your mother's daughter, over something like giving you a dang cupcake is ridiculous. For your little brother, I am a little brother, there are lines we know not cross on the path to annoying your siblings. This is one of them, and honestly, you're nicer than most older siblings I know, as this would have earned at least a punch from them. Not the idiot. I hope you also make sure to check your credit score regularly. Your mom sounds like someone who would have no issues taking a credit card out in your name using your information and then claiming she has the right since she raised you. Make sure your sister does too. You don't want to go apply for a loan only to find out your mom put you in debt thousands of dollars. If she ever does do something like that, then file a police report and start the fraud process. Hell, that's awful. My parents managed to have 3 kids on 3 major holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter, and always made a fuss over us. Our living room was divided in half with masking tape, and half was Christmas themed, and half was whatever birthday theme my sister wanted for her birthday. I got to pick all the Thanksgiving pies, and all white foods, potatoes, whipped cream, etc. had to be dyed pink on Thanksgiving for me, even if I wasn't my birthday that year, and our Easter tradition was pizza and tater tots, because that's what my brother wanted. I, 24, am a small man. 5.4 and 103 pounds as of my last physical. I'm well aware I'm at an unhealthy weight. My entire life I've been small, mostly due to illnesses and myriad allergies, and it's admittedly a sore spot. I am working with my doctor to gain weight while still fitting in with my dietary restrictions: no meat, dairy, gluten, or nuts, and honestly I'm so much better than I was several months ago, and proud of myself for the progress I've made. A coworker, Peg, 30, got pregnant and recently returned to work late November. She's been increasingly overt and uncomfortable in her concern for me. Peg made and brought in cupcakes for her return, and when I thanked her for thinking of us but refused, citing my gluten allergy, she was visibly upset. She didn't shout or complain much, just sighed heavily and said that she would put this one in the break room with the rest. I felt awful. Then, she brought me a steak sandwich the next day, on gluten-free bread. Again I thanked her, but I had brought in my own lunch and needed to focus on that. Peg told me it was in the fridge for when I finished. Ended up bringing it home so she wouldn't feel bad and gave it to my boyfriend. The next day, she approached again. I refused again. She insisted. By now we weren't alone in the break room. She joked that it was rude to refuse a home-cooked meal in favor of that, my lunch. At that point, I just took it and thanked her. Boyfriend ended up eating it. Then she just started leaving bagged snacks on my desk. She would approach with a snack or a portion of whatever she made for dinner the night before and not leave me be until I had taken it. I went to our boss and explained that I felt uncomfortable and was told that she was probably feeling maternal and it would negatively impact morale to discourage her. So, been taking notes since then: what days Peg has given what, when, who witnessed it, etc. From 12/8 to now she's done it 23 times. Yesterday I took Peg aside and explained that while I was touched, I would appreciate it if she wouldn't bring in anything else. She said that I should have said something sooner, she was only trying to help. Have I seen myself in a mirror? Does your boyfriend like you starving yourself? among other phrases. Livid, I told her that maybe I didn't feel like sharing my personal medical history with her, just so that my wishes were respected. For God's sake, we work with a hospital, don't you know anything about Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act? We parted from there, me childishly storming off and her in tears. Have I already been a huge idiot, and would a report to HR just be the icing on the cake? Not the idiot. Even if she stops now, you can tell HR that you had a discussion with her and you do not require action at this moment, but you want to put this on record. Consider this, what if she complains to HR about a hostile work environment? Make sure your side of the story is on record somewhere. Can I just say that this boss is a huge idiot? Your coworker is clueless and annoying, but your boss should have taken action here. They just didn't want to deal with it, so your complaint wasn't properly addressed. She's the biggest idiot in all of this. Not the idiot, but hear me out. I think you should bring this up to HR primarily to report how your boss handled, or in this case, did not handle, the issue. You can say that you think you and your coworker have resolved the situation and hope there will be no further incidents to report, but that you want to provide the documented evidence just in case, as well as express your frustration that you were essentially told your discomfort does not matter because the offending party is pregnant. You have not been nearly huge enough of an idiot to this woman. Don't let her, or your boss, use her new motherhood as an excuse for this. I've had kids and never got like that afterward. It's so rude and invasive. You're supposed to ditch your own lunch because she brought you something unasked. Absurd. At this point, since you finally confronted her, I'd say wait and see. If she really stops and doesn't do it again or bring it up, leave it. If she even hints at any of it again, go to HR. Not the idiot. I lost my grandfather about a year and a half ago. It was real hard for me as we have always been really close. But because I'm not their child, I was not allowed to take anything that I wanted out of his apartment until my dad and his siblings got a chance to take what they wanted. Understandably, I have nothing wrong with that. My aunt's family lives a few states away, and she came up a few days after his death to pick out the things she and her family wanted. My uncle also did the same thing. In total, they only picked out like 5 things. Didn't touch the jewelry or furniture or anything actually besides some little things. This entire process I was in contact with my cousins, asking them if there was anything they wanted. I went through things and sent them pictures. Nope, nothing. At the same time, my aunt was pressuring us to get an auctioneer guy to clear out the tiny apartment. So when I finally was able to go in the apartment and pick out the things I wanted, my mom was over my shoulder, making sure I left enough stuff for the auctioneer guy. So in total, I left a lot more than I took because of it. I got about 3 necklaces and a brooch from my grandmother, a rocking chair that was really important to me, a few books and a clock. All of which helped me tremendously while I was grieving my grandfather. Yesterday I got a call from my mom saying that my cousin wants some of the jewelry that I had taken that was from her grandma. Mind you, a year and a half ago I was sitting on the floor taking pictures of all the jewelry to send to her and offered to send her what she wanted. After her mother came through. That was back when there were at least 20 pieces to choose from. Now there are only 5. That's the only thing I have that was my grandmother's. I'm not giving it up. Not now, not later. She and her mother had all the opportunities in the world to take what they wanted. I gave her options and she didn't want it. This is causing a major upset between my mother and I. But am I the idiot? I do want her to have something of them, but I don't want to give up the only things I have. Not the idiot. Don't give up your precious memories of your grandfather. If they had wanted something sentimental, like you, then they would have picked something up at the time. Asking for it now is ridiculous and not your problem. The reason your mom is giving you a hard time is because those rude family members are giving her a hard time, which doesn't even make sense since they already had a chance. You didn't do anything wrong and won't be doing anything wrong if you keep everything. Not the idiot. She had her chance to pick jewelry and whatever else. Personally think she's coming back to the jewelry because she found out the price of it. I would be majorly pissed if my cousins asked for the jewelry that my grandparents passed to me. I mainly have rings. Including a gold ring I wear daily. I would cut ties with them if they ask for it. I know you're trying to be nice, but you've already been nice letting them choose first and sending her pictures to help her pick. It's not your turn to be nice, it's your turn to mourn. I'm sorry for your loss. If it meant that much to them, they would have got them when they had the chance. For some reason, they feel like they were cheated, but it's not your fault. You literally had last pick and are very cool about it. Don't feel bad because you did nothing wrong. It's your property now and you're free to do with it what you want. Not the idiot, and too bad if they don't like it. They just have to get over it and let them know guilt trips are wrong and won't change your mind. Background. My ex-wife and I have a daughter, 14, and we share custody. My daughter has 3 other half-siblings and a step-sister, her age, from her mom and stepdad, while she has 1 younger brother with me and my wife. I'm a lawyer, and while my wife might seem like a usual stay-at-home mother, but she owns a few properties she rents out. Needless to say, we can provide my daughter with things her mother can't, and that has always been a slight issue until recently. My father-in-law recently passed away and left my wife, only child, with everything. She brought up the idea of sending both kids to private school, since we can now afford to do it without breaking the bank. My wife loves my daughter like her own, so she was always fair. Whatever she gets or son, she gets something similar in value for our daughter. I brought this up to my ex, and she shut me down almost immediately. Apparently, her kids already hate our daughter for being more privileged, and that this will most definitely cause even more resentment. I told her I understood, but that she shouldn't hold our daughter back from getting a better education because of this. We argued for a bit, and apparently, our daughter hurt her mom, and I argue about private school cause now she's mad at her mom for not letting her go. She wants to go, and now she wants to live with me full time. My ex is now blaming me for using my money to turn our daughter against her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your ex-wife and her brood hate you anyway, so you might as well get something for your money. At this point, what's one more argument? I went to a state school with 37 kids in the classroom, 2 over the legal limit, not sure how they got away with that, and my teacher didn't even get my name right until the 2nd term. Who knows what I could have achieved with life if I had gone to private school. You can't deny your daughter a chance of having something great. Not the idiot. Your daughter overheard the convocation and made a decision that she wants to stay. That's all her own thinking, and why would she want to live in a house where she is hated because of her privilege? Doesn't sound like a place I'd want to live. And why does the mother feel like she should be holding her child back to protect her other children's feelings? At the end of the day, you've got to where you are and now have the opportunity to expand your daughter's opportunities. Most parents would kill for that opportunity. So well done, and now just do you. Not the idiot. If your ex-wife told you that her stepkids already hate your daughter, it won't matter which school she attends, so you might as well give her the opportunity of a better school. Also, if possible, try to get your kid to move in for the week and spends weekends with her mom. She is old enough to choose, and I guarantee you, she is not saying that just because she wants to attend a private school. 14-year-old girls shouldn't be feeling hated or unwanted where they live, even if it means taking her away from her mother for most days of the week.